Welcome back to Maverick Tactical, everybody. I'm Sean. Here at Maverick Tactical, we are all about personal protection, tactical gear, and keeping you safe. And guys, you may have seen a few weeks ago, you can find it right up here. Me and Patrick actually did an EDC video talking about the 3 P's of EDC, trying to, be aware of your surroundings and just have your everyday carry situated and ready to go for whenever you may need it. And today we have Austin here with us. Austin is going to show us exactly what he has in his everyday carry kit, opposed to me and Patrick. He's done it a lot bigger, a lot better. He's definitely the guy to talk about this. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to him, and he's going to show you exactly how to set up an EDC kit.
Hey everybody, my name is Austin. I'm an all-source intelligence analyst with the United States Army. So I tend to have a pretty unique perspective when it comes to my everyday carry because of the awareness I have about the world around me, both at home and abroad. So starting off with your everyday carry, it really starts when you roll out of bed. What's your situational awareness like? The situational awareness has to be peak throughout the entire day and never ending. You can enhance your situational awareness by being aware of events or issues happening in your local community, as well as on the international stage. We've seen countless times things happen overseas that have direct implications to our safety here at home. So before you leave the house, make sure you read the news, watch the news, scroll social media. Have a little discernment when it comes to things you see and read online, but there is some truth to the matter. Join certain Facebook groups. Your local law enforcement agencies will typically have social media pages where they'll put out memos, notices, or even just the local neighborhood watch. Those are plenty of good resources to heighten your situational awareness before you embark on the day. So once we embark on our day, there's plenty of issues that can occur. So to kind of be proactive, it's important to walk to your car with your head up. Let's not have our face in our phones. And it's 2025. Not many people are putting a physical key in your door. So it's okay to reach in your back pocket, wherever you have your keys, tap that unlock button so the vehicle's ready to go. If you're with people, make sure that you are helping them with their situational awareness. If they're not the most aware people, it's okay to be a little more aware of your surroundings and their surroundings as well, especially if you have a family. Things like being out in public at a restaurant, seeing where the exits are, seeing who's coming from the door. We all know that sometimes people can look sketchy. It's okay to keep an eye on them. When in large crowds, it's okay if you feel uncomfortable. That's natural. Try to keep yourself a little bit more away so that if there's a stampede or you have to run and break free, you can grab your loved ones and have a clear line of sight and path out of the crowd and out of harm's way. It's also important to remember that during your everyday carry experience, you're not doing this alone. There are plenty of law enforcement agencies and emergency services that are at your disposal. You can always call 911, even if the situation isn't emergent at that moment. You never know what it could devolve into. So always make sure you know where the local law enforcement is or the local EMT, especially if you're some like large gathering. You'll typically see patrol officers on foot. You'll have EMTs on bicycles with their first aid kits and their medical bags. Always know what resources you have at your disposal aside from what you have on your person. So you're out and about, you've prepared yourself the best you can. Physically, you know where everything's at, you know where emergency services are, you have a clear path and exit away from a situation, but a situation pops off. I'll go into what I carry on my person every day for a generic scenario in my pockets at all times. Starting off, I always have a flashlight. This is an O-light. It has a green laser pointer, or I can use it just to illuminate my surroundings. I'm not always out during the day, so having some form of illumination is always important. Now I know it's 2025, pretty much every phone comes equipped with a flashlight, but it's always important to have a backup. Going into my right pocket, I always have a knife. This is a Microtech. Not trying to sell anybody on anything, but I like a quickly accessible knife that has a retractable blade, whether it be out the front or a friction folder, to not just defend myself, but I can use it to cut zip ties, cut things out of the way, and also it works as just a great everyday pocket knife. Obviously, I always have my keys. I do think that they are important when considering an everyday carry scenario, because where you have your keys kind of depends on the speed in which you get to your car, and that can actually directly impact your safety and your survivability. Getting into the always hot topic, my firearm. Showing that it's clear. I carry a Glock 45 at appendix, one magazine in the gun, and I carry a spare on my hip. It's important to understand that not every situation will require this level of violence or even this level of violence. Your first option should be either de-escalation or escape. Fighting and surviving are not always the same thing. And just like that, no matter what state you're in, laws are different. Laws in North Carolina, when it comes to defending yourself with lethal force, are not the same as somewhere like California or even Ohio or Illinois. So it's always important to understand what kind of box you're operating in when it comes to everyday scenarios. So let's say the situation has de-escalated somewhat. You've had to use some form of violence, whether it be your pocket knife or your firearm to defend yourself, or whether it's time to render aid to someone else. I've brought out a couple items that are always either on me or in my immediate vicinity so I can access to render aid to someone in need. So starting off, we have a hyphen chest seal. This is for gunshot wounds or wounds in general to the upper torso, and it really helps with the airway. They're really easy to apply. You can buy them in packs of 1 or 2, and they just stick right over the wound to make sure that the person's breathing is secure. Moving on to the next one, we have a pressure bandage. There are a bunch of different types out there. It's really simple. You just put it over, wrap the wound, and maintain consistent pressure over that area. This could be considered a little more advanced. This is an NPA. It goes up the nose to assist the person breathing if there's any trauma to their face. It's inserted through the nose. It is a little more advanced of a technique for insertion of that. Here I have quick clot infused packing gauze. There's a bunch of different types out there for this too. Not all of them are infused with quick clot, which is an agent to help with the clotting process of a wound. Here I have a needle decompression tool. This is an advanced tool and requires some bit of training to learn where to do it. This is to treat a tension pneumothorax. Big word, I know. I'm sure there's some people watching that'll know what I'm talking about. This is to relieve pressure within the chest cavity so that the lungs can function the way they're supposed to. And I always keep basic trauma shears. Let's say I'm not going to use my pocket knife and it's just easier to cut jeans off or cut a t-shirt off with trauma shears. They do exactly what you think. I do want to emphasize that if you have trauma supplies and medical supplies that you do not know how to use, please get trained. It'll protect you and the individual you're rendering aid to. Now, these medical items don't stay on my person. What they do live in is my bag. This bag lives 24/7, 365 in my vehicle. And on top of all these trauma items that live in this, I have a plethora of other tools and gadgets to get me from point A to point B. If you're looking forward to seeing what I have in this bag that you can probably use too, make sure to stay around and look forward to the next video. Now guys, I know in the community having all these tools and being prepared is fun. It's a cool hobby and we really enjoy it. But it's important to remember that while these items are fun and it is cool to do, it is the last resort. Engaging somebody in public with violence and lethal force is the last resort. The legal ramifications of unjustly harming somebody is not worth it. Now, if you enjoyed today's content and are looking forward to more, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.